Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, here in Gridania, in the airship docks, where we just landed with the Enterprise, and um, probably need to do some preparations to reach Garuda. Has it? It calms me to look at her. It's as though I've been reunited with a part of me I never knew was missing. Hardly surprising. You did design and build her. I bear good news. The CCS have granted our request to house the Enterprise. We may take as long as we require to repair her. Of course, it would be rank folly to take one moment more than we require. Garuda, lest we forget, grows stronger by the hour. If we are to have any hope of wresting this benighted realm from her talents, it must needs be soon. While I'm no expert on the workings of airships, it seems plain to me the Enterprise suffered much from her time in the wilderness. Am I not correct, Sid? You are. Frankly, it's a miracle she carried us this far. As you know, the howling eye is encircled by a raging tempest, apt to turn proud trees to matchwood. Our battle will end before it begins if the Enterprise cannot weather the storm. Given time, I believe I can fully repair her. But if this tempest is as fearsome as you say, even that may not be enough. Confound it, there must be a way. A way to brave the fury of the elements. The elements? But of course, that's it. We work upon the element itself. Using the power of corrupted crystals, we could clear a path through the storm and spare the Enterprise a battering. I see, you propose to utilize the properties of a crystal to alter the elemental aspect of a barrier. It seems so childishly simple in retrospect. Well, mayhap not to you, Wield. We speak of a manifestation of over-aspected aether that can be found throughout Eorzea. Since the calamity disrupted the land's etheric currents, such crystals have become comparatively commonplace, which has been a cause of great woe as they are known to warp etheric energies, including those of living organisms. The point is, we could theoretically use a corrupted crystal to convert the wind-aspected aether comprising Garuda's barrier into aether of another aspect, one she cannot control. With certain modifications, the Enterprise should be able to deliver us to the Howling Eye in comfort, however hard Garuda blows. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. All of this rests upon our ability to procure a crystal with the necessary properties. Have you any idea where we might acquire one? No, but I know a man who might. A scholar by the name of Lamberton, who resides in Camp Drybone. As strange as it may sound, I met him during my time at the church. Well, Marquez met him, I suppose. Whether out of pity or for want of a more willing listener, he would talk to me for hours at a time about his etheric studies, corrupted crystals being his pet subject. It was as a result of these conversations that poor Marquez was observed to possess an uncommon knack for theoretical science. Well, I needed to return to Fanalan and seek out the scholar. Sid and I will set about repairing the Enterprise in your absence. Isn't it nice how Alphinaud treats us like an idiot? Anyway, back to Eastern Fanalan, where we haven't been since our search for La Habrea. So level was 28 or something like that. No, probably earlier than that. Over here. Why, yes, I am Professor Lambertain. Beg pardon, you wish to hear about my research on corrupted crystals? Truly. Well, nothing could give me greater pleasure than to discuss my work with a fellow man of science. So rare is it to find a fellow intellectual in this region. Even rarer to find one capable of comprehending the nature of corrupted crystals. Come to think of it, there was another. A hermit to whom the church had given sanctuary. Curious fellow. Unsociable, rather daft at first impression, yet possessed of an amazing affinity towards the scientific pursuits. But to the matter at hand, did you say you wish not to conduct field observation, but to harvest a corrupted crystal? Guardsman, at least take the necessary precautions so that you do not suffer from exposure to its harmful energies. I'm beginning to wonder if you have sufficient qualifications to handle such hazardous materials. Still, your ignorance is somehow endearing. Luckily for you, I have precisely the means by which these inherent dangers may be averted. Simply store the crystal you seek within this watered pot to protect yourself from its deleterious effects. But I suppose you will be bombarded with its energies until you place it within the vessel. Well, perhaps it shall motivate you to work quickly. In any case, take the pot to Hahasako, a student of mine monitoring the flow of air at Highbridge. Explain to him your quest, and he shall instruct you in the finer points of crystal harvesting. And originally you had to go to the Silver Bazaar, no, here, what is it? The Golden Bazaar, to get the pot for Professor Lamberton, so he could water it for you then. Anyway, let's go over to Highbridge and the student. How many times must I be made to explain myself? I'm not contemplating suicide, you imbecile. I've chosen this precise position to perform scientific measurements. The professor said you can help me? What have we here? A containment vessel? Why, this is the handiwork of Professor Lamberton, you thieving knave. I shall call for the... Oh, you say the man himself lent it to you? Then you must have sought me out per instruction, which means he believes me experienced enough to expound upon his explanations. At last, recognition I so rightfully deserve. Oh, Frapjoy Day, Kalu Kale, that I should be chosen to guide this man. Yes, I, Hahasako, greatest of Professor Lamberton's pupils, shall see that you successfully quarry your quarry. Your timing's impeccable, in fact, for I was just preparing to procure corrupted crystals from a burning wall for my personal research. There, the devastating destruction caused by the calamity has blessed us with a bounty of sublime specimens. But something tells me that not but a perfect piece will satisfy your high standards, in which case you must needs descend to the deepest depths. Amidst the flowing water and the murderous Mirrorites lies the most fantastic formation I have found thus far. Take this highly advanced researcher's tool and use it to separate a small fragment from the large cluster. Place it within the watered pot and bear it back to me for inspection. The path which leads from Burgundy Falls to the base of a burning wall is treacherous and terrifying, but advance with appropriate caution and you shall surely survive. And our highly advanced researching tool is a hammer. Through this cave. Past the fleece. surely went the wrong way. So, not down there past the fleece, but down here, the second path, with past the goblins and mirror knights. Okay, well, it's relatively easy to overlook this path down here when you come from out here. But small right path that leads down. To the water. And here are the mirror knights. Careful, there may be a fate here at times. And there is the corrupted cluster we want to hammer. Please. Didn't count. Die, Mirror Knight. Are you flying a Rattalos or what is that? Or is it just a dragon? Okay, I got the piece. So let's get out of here. Oh yeah, something interesting. What is sticking into the ground here is actually a piece of Dalamut, the red moon where Bahamut burst out from. The Death Star. I see you've come galumphing back. Have you a crystal then? What a prodigiously large and lovely crystal. Professor Lamberton will doubtless chortle with joy when you present it to him in person. Oh, and upon your turn, do remember to recount how I helped you with your harvesting. Have you? My keen scholar sense tells me we've obtained the corrupted crystal. Am I right? If you would grant me a moment to examine the crystal. Ah, it's as you desired, a corrupted crystal overflowing with winter-spected aether. Remind me of for what purpose did you intend to use this crystal again? What? To breach a barrier comprised of winter-spected aether. Oh dear, that may prove problematic, as this crystal would only serve to strengthen the barrier. I suppose I'm at fault for not inquiring as to your objective from the start. Had I known your intent, I would never have sent you to Hahasako. But what is science if not trial and error? And can you truly say that this failure has taught you nothing? Think, man, you now understand the methods necessary to safely collect the corrupted crystal. You will doubtless have no difficulty doing so once more. What's more, the crystal you collected can serve as an invaluable resource for the ethereal studies conducted by the students of Baldesion. You've heard of them? Well, I don't mean to boast, but I have a professional relationship with the organization. Not as equals, of course. I would never be so bold as to claim that level of expertise. Are you alright? Your eyes seem to have glazed over for a moment. Anyway, I shan't keep you from your task. You have still a corrupted crystal to find. I believe I'm a bit worried about the other science. Remember, the Science of the Seventh Dawn were partners to the students of Baldesion? Corrupted crystals of sufficient size and strength are not all that common, I fear. Fortunately, one of my other students, Seana, claims to have discovered another promising site in eastern Lanashan. Wait, That's not correct. Eastern Anosha was where she was nearly killed when wandering too close to an imperial castrum. Now that made for an amusing anecdote. It was Western Lanosha, Pharaoh Sirius on the Isles of Umbra to be precise. I can't recall her exact reasoning. Something to do with one of Dalamut's talents or some such nonsense. What I can say for certain is that she's still in airport, attempting to gain access to the Isles. Why not travel there and see if Sienna's increased their food? If you can look past the crass and violent ways of the local pirates, you might find your time there to be quite pleasurable. Oh, and do not forget to take your makeshift watered pot, lest she think you are unprepared for the task. Okay. Off to Aleport. And a path a bit up there is Sienna, once again in red. Corrupted crystals? Sir, I have no interest in being the butt of your jokes, so if you have no further reason for addressing me, kindly leave me be. Well, I'll be damned. Professor Lambert did send you. Beg your pardon, it seems we got off on the wrong foot. I'm Sienna, greatest of the professor's pupils, which is doubtless why he bid you seek me out. Indeed, I'm an accomplished scholar with an extensive background in... Oh, gods, just listen to me prattle on and on. I must have given this introduction a dozen times by now. As I told the professor in my many missives, I believe that the area surrounding Pharaoh Sirius is replete with corrupted crystals of exceptional strength. Unfortunately, I've yet to test my hypothesis, as all access to the Isles of Umbra is prohibited at present, for reasons unknown to me. You see, my attempts to acquire this information are often met with annoyance and disdain. It's rather puzzling, since I always take the time to explain my motivations in great detail to the subject of my questioning. Which is probably why you are annoying. Mayhap you will have better luck wresting information from these yellow jackets? I've all but given up at this point. Come. Someone is there. Ah, you startled me. Don't you know better than to sneak up on a person at a time like this, with all the fatuous gossip of spirits and spectres haunting the Isles of Umbra? Just because I know it's nonsense doesn't make it any less frightening. Spectres, huh? So the place is haunted. You're keen on traveling to the Isles of Umbra? Bloody hell, are you drunk or just crazy? And nothing but death, death, and more death. That is Pharaoh Sirius over there. This is the lighthouse. Pharaoh Sirius. And you can't see the bridge from here? It's a rather massive construct there. Leading into the sea. The Isles of Umbra, what interest have you in that godforsaken place? Ever since we are forced to abandon Pharaoh Sirius, the Isles have become naught more than a graveyard for ships unable to navigate the shores, and a purgatory for the souls dragged down to the depths with them. Ah, Will, you've returned. Tell me of your findings. Really? Infested with the undead, you say? That's very interesting development. Excuse me for a moment while I gather my thoughts. Worry not, my friend. I've given your findings some thought, and I've concluded that this talk of spirits is not more than local folklore. As for why all travel to the Isles of Umbra is restricted, well, maybe it's considered too dangerous owing to the abandonment of Pharaoh Sirius? Yes, well, anyway, while you were questioning those yellow jackets, I paid a visit to the local pub, since even an esteemed scholar like myself enjoys styling her wits on occasion. It was there that I heard tell of a man named Skiffrion, who was recently detained after returning from, wait for it, the Isles of Umbra. Mr. First, I've heard of someone actually traveling to and from there, so I'm curious as how he obtained permission. Mind having a chat with him, Maestad? He was arrested after all, so I'm somewhat reticent to approach him myself. I must say they didn't shorten this as much as I would thought. I have to go back. She calls to me. Sings to me. Tell me, Mido, I'm sorry. Give him this. He was right. Oh, you could release me? Yes, release me. I will go and tell her. Let me go tell her. What did Skiffrin have to say? Not terribly helpful. Couldn't care less how much he misses his favorite bar wench. But what was it about a man named Memidoa? Wait, I know that man. That's that bastard who grabbed my ass the other day at the pub. Well, if you want to give him that feather, be my guest. I'm not going anywhere near him and his wandering hands. Memidoa. Navane Shady, I am? No? Then what are you? Speak up, son, I can't hear you. Bugger me. Is that what I think it is? Couldn't be. You found this, you say. Where did you say you found it? Scaffering, you say. Was hoping to have a word with the lad, but it sounds like there's naught left betwixt his ears. He was supposed to help patch up how serious he was. Company sent me to supervise for a lot of them. When getting work done on their own, see? Half of them walked off, half of them ran off, and half of them up and vanished. What's that? You've been looking for passage to the Isles of Umbra? Why didn't you say so? I've been thinking of dispatching someone to take a look on behalf of old Mimidoa. Tell him how the land lies. And nobody's been interested till you came a-calling. Old Paul's up in arms about spirits and so forth. If I had the gill, I'd hire some sellswords and let them sort it out. But you'll do in a pinch, or you will. Soon show this parchment to the skipper and he'll see you there and back. For some reason I need to report this to Siana. So you went and had a word with Midor. I hope the valuable time you saw fit to waste amounted to something. Permit. You mean that disgusting creature was Scaffron's superior? I find that hard to believe, but this writ of passage does appear to be genuine, so it must be true. I must say it's a relief to work with such an industrious man as you. I look forward to hearing of the discoveries you will make on the Isles of Umbra. Without me. You don't want to come along? Fine. I fail to see the justification for dragging me along on your journey, but if you insist, I will go as well. But 12 as my witness, if you leave me behind to be devoured by some horrid abomination, I shall come back to haunt you. Take me to the Isles of Umbra, bits. As if it's as simple as... Oh, I see you got a word of passage. Alright then, climb aboard. This doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but... Oh, hell's with this. Here, take the pot and go without me. You've harvested corrupted crystals before, right? So it isn't as though you require my assistance. Speak to the man guarding the gate. I'm sure he'll let you in. Now, if you would please excuse me. Beg pardon, sir, but how did you get here? Access to this island is currently restricted. An old pot? Not sure I follow. Oh, I see. You wish to harvest a corrupted crystal. Sorry, friend, but you may have to return empty-handed. The Wit Master Mamidoa may grant you access to the island, but only authorized personnel may proceed past this point. Why you ask? Look up and see for yourself. When that giant mass of crystal struck the lighthouse, it caused severe damage to both the structure and the machinery within that once powered the beacon. Contrary to what the small folk would have you believe, the fires of Pharaoh's were not the product of a mage's thaumaturgy or a colossal arcane bomb, but an elaborate contraption fueled by ethereal energy. Repairs are still ongoing, but it's anyone's guess when they'll be complete. What's worse, all work has ceased since rumors of a walking dead drove off our entire crew. Not that those rumors are incorrect. I've observed the fiends from a distance at the ship graveyard to the south. What's drawn them to our shores is still a mystery, though. I'll make you a deal, Wild. Help me unravel this mystery, and I'll bring you your corrupted crystal. In fact, I shall begin searching for one that satisfies your requirements. As for where to begin your inquiries into the situation, it so happens that a party of 3 adventurers came ashore not long ago, seeking to scavenge valuable trinkets at the ship graveyard. I'd be surprised if they knew nothing of the undead infestation, so it might behoove you to question them. And how did they get here when you need a permit? Did they swim? You swim too, right? Dead people? Just shambling about without a care in the world? Except they do seem to care about this and start shuffling toward the water. Gods, that voice. That single bleeding verse, I can still hear it. Stay clear of our southern shore, friend. It took every ounce of my strength to resist. Is all there for the taking. 5 bleeding years worth of wreckage and web cargo. But those queer dead things and that voice. Actually, the voice was quite nice. The talk of an alluring voice is disturbingly familiar, as if... but that's impossible. They're all dead, aren't they? Nope. But if they have returned, that would mean... beg your pardon, I was just thinking about something. Which reminds me, I received word that Master Mamidoa would be arriving any moment. Apparently he got tired of waiting for the lanky young lad with a 1,000-yard stare to return, which I'm assuming is you. I don't know what sort of arrangement you had, but you should probably go and explain yourself. What's been keeping you in this shit? I ain't getting any younger, you know? Huh? Some honey-voiced harlot's been calling out to folk what won them near the ship graveyard, and it stirred up the dead and all? Bloody hell, this takes me back to me days as a cannon boy sailing under old Mistbeard. But they wouldn't dare, would they? Not after the lesson we learned them last time. They bloody would, though, wouldn't they, brazen old biddies? Some folks said that the first torch would be the last, but I knew deep down in my bones that this day would come. And come it has. I'd bet me bum ear a siren's behind it all. Nay, not one of a sanguine variety, is it? I speak of a other kind, them what got feathers and lure sailors to a watery grave with their sweet, sweet song. Oh, but it don't end there. No, drowning's just the start, see? Even in death a man stays bound to the beast, forced to do her bidding till his corpse can't do it no more. 'Tis a fate I wouldn't wish on me worst enemy. Except maybe in drink, and I'd regret it later. Anyway, 'tis up to us to stop this hell's-born hussy afore she takes another soul. 'Cause we can't send you much off without these. The sirens don't have power over man that can't hear a song. 'Tis lucky for you I carry a spare pair. And lucky for both of us I'm a superstitious old sort, eh? Well, she ain't coming to us, so we'd best head over to her. To a ship graveyard, is it? If she passed near the shore, she's sure to spy the campfire and come looking. Just a matter of waiting now. I'm beginning to wonder if some sly bugger ain't spun us a yarn here. Right. You hear that? Tis her. Huh. And there she is. Look! Out of the water. She's come, Nishat. She's come. Quick, lad. Shove them plucks in your ears and get ready for a fight. Soon as she realizes you're deaf to her ditty, she'll call on her fowls, and we'll be up to our necks and corpses before you know it.
Eva and Ray, mine everything. Oh. True love stand, his cruelty's reward. Cast out callous soul, death to desire. Spare, mournful mistress, distress. Melody, last breath of death, the risen, dost thou not relent, regret, forever alone.
Careful with the bubbles. They are damage.
My love, a wither, one look, soul shiver. No more dark eclipse, the heart.
Am I alright? I better bet. I'm better than that, isn't it? Happy as a sailor in a warhouse, I am. Of course, I'd be happy as a sailor with two words if we got it with songstress. But you can't have everything, can you? She's not coming crooning around here again, though. Not for a while, anyway. And if she does, well, we know what to do, don't we? Thanks for the help, Back at me, I've clean forgot your name. Remind me. Wilt? Don't recall having known initiate by that name. But if you're not me old maid, what's name? Why have been so bloody helpful? Never mind. Be seeing you, lad. And return to David after I get these dead from my hunting log. Oh yeah, down here, in this separate corner, there is a magic pot you can talk to, which changes an elixir and a high elixir for a minion each. So, just for those who like to collect that stuff. You mean it was a siren? But how were you able to resist her song? Yeah, Mimidoa had earplugs with I see, I had heard that Master Mimidoa was involved in the first purge, but I never actually... Having survived an ordeal like that, I can't blame him for carrying earplugs around with him. Anyway, I have something for you. The corrupted crystal you wanted, safely sealed within the pot, just as you requested. Please, take it with my compliments. Oh, it's you. Welcome back, Wilt. You're looking remarkably hale, I must say, and more importantly, alive. You are alive, aren't you? Yes, and with the crystal. The conquering hero returns bearing a gift. Might I have a closer look? Impressive. Very impressive indeed, yes. I think you'll be quite pleased with this specimen. Congratulations, Wilt. Seldom, if ever, have I encountered a corrupted crystal composed of such a volatile overabundance of fire, expected Aether. What? You wanted a corrupted crystal composed of ice, aspected Aether, to counteract the effects of a raging wind? Well, this specimen won't help you there. Anyone who knows anything about the elements could tell you that. You just have to keep looking, I suppose. Yes, that was twice we have collected the wrong crystal. Okay, I had expected they would have shortened this part a bit more than they have, but they have shortened it a bit. So that's nice. Until next time then, I am Ace, and don't get lost.